Cruise Control streams live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Details are in this podcast episode's information.
This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
And a good day to everyone. Welcome to Cruise Control. This is your on-air automotive magazine, and it's ours too. You know us. I'm Les Jackson. The other guy there is Fred Staab. And as usual, we have a lot to say about the auto industry, including, oh boy, another airbag recall, eh, Fred?
Yeah, we've got that, Les, and we're also going to start off with, some good news from the folks over at Ford. They have released the new Ranger, a lot of new technology, and no, it's not just the XLT and the Lariat. It is also a Ranger Raptor, which will be pretty exciting. I can't wait to talk about it. How about you?
Absolutely. We were predicting this probably would happen. Of course, they knew before we did, clearly. Anyway, Honda's brand new Accord sedans aces the tough safety tests.
Yeah, and they're a lot more difficult, and Honda did a great job with it, so we'll tell you about that. And Honda is sticking in the sedan business, which is great news. And then talking tech, could etched metal be the next customized look for your vehicle? Etched at the factory. We'll talk about it.
Well, we'll see. And why is the Nürburgring banning slow cars? Well, because people drive crazy on it.
And does that mean James May is banned as well?
Listen, I'm on James's side.
Captain Slow. All right. Well, we'll tell you about that, and you'll have an at-the-wheel review of the Mercedes EQE 500 sedan, right?
Sedan, all-wheel drive, all electric, of course, and we'll talk about it at the wheel segment.
Yeah, that sounds great, and all that and more is coming up on Cruise Control. A lot going on in the automotive industry, and we're glad you're along for the ride with us. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson, and we're just getting started. And I think Ford's done a great job with the Ranger, and they've updated it. They have such a strong lineup of trucks right now, starting with the Maverick and working all the way up to the F-150 and beyond, of course. But they've done more of a kind of a vertical screen in the interior and just kind of upgraded everything. Just pretty cool. We'll get into the details after the break, but I tell you, they are really batting 1,000, aren't they?
They are. They seem to be able to do no wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's all coming up on Cruise Control when we return. As I said, I'm Fred Staab. He is none other than Les Jackson, and we will see you when we come back. Cruise Control is your on-air automotive magazine. Check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson here with you. Let's jump right into it. Ford had a busy week, and it involved the new Ford Ranger, the all-new Ford Ranger. They call it the most connected and capable Ranger ever, which is a big claim. And boy, this has gotten a lot closer to an F-150 with all the technology, the interior design. It's grown up, and I guess, you can think about that. It is now a midsize pickup truck. And, of course, Maverick is the start of the lineup. But they just kept adding things to it. And well, here we are today. It has a lot of the technology for parking, trailering, a lot of tech that was introed on the F-150, but now is available in the smaller Ranger.
Well, it's basically what the F-150 was, size-wise and components-wise, just 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And, people say, why are these things getting bigger? Well, people want bigger.
Yeah.
But also, there's a lot of stuff to pack in there. Vehicles are getting heavier and bigger.
Well, even down to things like that side step in the bumper, that would have formerly just been a F-150 type of deal. They're putting that in there. You think about how this segment, the midsize segment for pickup trucks, is heated up. I'm going to have a Tacoma review later on. There's going to be a release of the new Tacoma this week as well. And, it's just heating up. There's talk that Ram will get back into this midsize pickup arena. Chevy has released their new models, although they don't get much press, frankly.
No, they don't. They're not doing themselves a favor by not getting out there more. But Ford knows what it's doing. And can you get a Ranger?
Well, you can't get one of these because they just revealed it. No. But actually, this one is going to be available in the XL, XLT, and Lariat models, which is a traditional lineup for Ford as far as their models go. It will be available in a crew cab, 4x2 and 4x4, of course, a 2.3-liter EcoBoost engine, which is kind of a carryover. They're going to have a couple of different variations of that, and they have like in-bed power, electrical power. They're going to have, I believe, two engines, two choices, 2.3-liter EcoBoost engine. That will be the standard engine, 270 horsepower. And then if you want to go up, it will also offer the 2.7 EcoBoost V6 that it shares with the Bronco and the F-150, which will produce 315 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque.
Now, see, that's big truck level.
The big truck, yeah, it is a mini F-150.
It is. And by the way, I'm not going to list them, but there are 31 standard or available driver assist features for the Ranger. 31.
Wow. That's crazy.
How do you choose it?
I don't know. It reminds me a lot of the Tacoma that I was just driving. That interior almost looks the same, although I believe this one might be a little bit bigger. But, maybe this makes sense for more people. A little bit smaller truck, but it has all the truck features. You can still go off-roading with it. You can tow with it, but it's a little bit smaller to handle. Yep. I think it looks great. I love the wheels.
I am predicting that the majority of Ranger buyers are going to be women.
Because they're people that didn't think they wanted a pickup truck, but now.
Right. Oh, but let me tell you, every woman I talk to about cars wants a pickup truck.
I've always liked them. I just never had one.
Man.
But good-looking truck. It's interesting. I reviewed the Tacoma, which is very similar in size, and we'll have an at-the-wheel review of that later on. But you look at the Ranger, pretty cool. And, of course, they have the great Maverick below that if you can get it. I don't know if you can. I don't know what the current model Ranger's like as far as availability, but
it's probably more available than the Maverick, but we'll have to check.
Yeah, but good for Ford. I think it will be a big hit for them. We look forward to driving it and talking more about it when we know more about it. And can you imagine the older generation Rangers coming with adaptive cruise control with stop and go? And
they came with a radio and heater.
That's it.
And I don't even think they had power windows.
I'm not sure about that, but I know who I can ask. We'll be right back on Cruise Control Radio. We're going to tell you about the Ranger Raptor, which will be coming.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I can't wait to tell you about the Ranger Raptor. And the reason is because we're both really anxious to drive it. And the reason for that is because we've been in the other Ford Raptor F-150s, and they're remarkably nice to drive. And I mean, you would think that it would beat you to death, but exactly the opposite. It's a smooth cruiser with massive wheel travel, and
Yes.
I'm sure that the Ranger is going to be the same thing.
Yes, I think it's great to drive because the roads are so bad, and this
Exactly.
is designed for rough roads and really heavy-duty work. So it's been such a hit for them. I have not really – well, I should say this. I saw 2 Raptors on my local Ford dealer's lot, F-150 Raptors. It's the first time I've seen it up close. And I'm surprised they actually had 2 of them there, but they did not have this one, which is the Ranger Raptor. Just
and
came
by
out.
the way, I just checked the local Ford dealer here has 20 Rangers on the lot.
The old generation.
Come and get them.
Come
and get them.
Now they're old. Nobody wants them. They're the 2023. So, yes. So let's talk about this. It gets a special powertrain. Yeah, the very popular twin-turbo 3-liter EcoBoost V6. I think that is the most popular engine in the F-150, actually. 430 pound-feet of torque, 405 horsepower in this trim. And, of course, it gets all the goodies for off-roading, including Fox shocks and all the good stuff. The 2.5-inch live valve internal bypass shocks, coilovers at the front, piggyback reservoirs to reduce the heat buildup in the shocks. I tell you what, that's why it rides so well, and the big sidewalls on the tires.
It flies well too. You realize that you and I have flown a number of vehicles.
We have not this one yet, though. This just
not
came
this
out.
one yet, but don't worry.
What do you think this is going to cost when it comes out?
Well, they pretty much get what they want for them. And obviously the 150 Raptor is pricey. I would imagine. You think you could get one for less than 50?
I don't know. Not right away. And,
well, no.
So the Ranger Raptor is built on the fully boxed Ranger frame, which is really great to hear that the standard Ranger is a fully boxed frame. And it's been reinforced at the front frame rails, front shock towers, rear shock brackets, suspension mounting points, and other key areas. So you think about this, like we always say, and I know it gets old, we say it a lot here on Cruise Control, but you couldn't really build this for the price you can buy it at your Ford dealer. I mean, it's done right. This is not a handful of stickers and some big tires. When they reinforce the frame at attachment points, I mean, that's true building of an off-road vehicle, isn't it?
Exactly. And you're absolutely right. As you know, I have built some cars, a fair number of them, and you just can't do this yourself for the same money. It's just impossible. Yeah,
it is. And these are great deals. And I don't know what the F-150 Raptors are used, but they probably hold their price pretty well, I would imagine.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Everything. It's slowly coming down.
Yeah. I'm not a fan personally of all the stickers and things like that on these vehicles. That's the
I'm
one
not
I
either.
tested. I liked it had no stickers. Matter of fact, the two on the lot had no stickers, and to me, that's the way I would get it. So it could almost be mistaken for a regular pickup truck, which I kind of like. But other people, to each their own. They like the big stickers and the call outs.
They like the big windshield stickers and all that.
I know.
I don't. Well, my feeling is I don't want to advertise. I just paid a lot of money for this thing. I don't want to advertise for the company unless they pay me.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, let's talk about something completely different. Honda Accord, a fine sedan, all new for 2023. And they aced the IIHS safety test, crash test, and got the top safety pick plus. And that's a big achievement because the new testing has gotten a lot more severe, I'll call it.
A
lot tougher. They've added more weight to the vehicles that will crash into the side, or the sled, I guess you would call it. Because let's face it, vehicles are getting heavier. Electric vehicles are heavier. And especially big ones like the Hummer and others are nearing 10,000 pounds, right?
That is exactly right. And this affects the safety in a crash. So, by the way, the previous Accord only earned a marginal rating from IIHS. So this is a huge improvement.
It is a huge improvement. I was unaware that they only got a marginal rating. That's unusual for Honda, wouldn't you say?
Well, it is, but remember they changed some of the parameters a couple of years ago, and they caught a few car companies off guard.
Well, the good news for Honda is 6 of their vehicles have gotten the Top Safety Pick Plus award, including CRV and HRV, Civic hatchback and sedan, and Odyssey minivan. So that is pretty good news for the folks over at Honda, and it makes it one of the safest midsize family sedans on the market.
And of course, like everything else, they've grown up a little bit.
Yeah.
In size, but what would you call them now? Like
it's still
upper mid-size car?
Yeah, it's still called mid-size.
Yeah.
So,
well, of course, back in the 60s, mid-size was a GTO.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so interesting stuff, and I have not driven this yet. Have you driven the
No, I have not.
Yeah. I look forward to it, though. I'm sure it's great.
Yeah, same here. I like Accords.
I do too, because it's a nice size vehicle. It's always well equipped. It feels so well put together,
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. So, hey, we're going to put together some more of the show for you. When we come back, it's kind of an interesting talking tech about GM's plan for etching metal, not for any particular reason other than instead of using a vinyl wrap, basically, or go fast stickers. They were talking about etching metal at the factory, actually burning through layers of paint so you can see other colors. Interesting concept. So we'll talk about that. Then we'll also answer why the Nürburgring is banning slow cars. If you ever watch that, some people bring some strange things out on the Nürburgring, don't they?
Yes, and there are a lot of crashes on the Nürburgring because you just pay your $20 and you go out there, and an awful lot of people shouldn't be out there.
And you're not allowed to wear a Hans device, or I don't think you're allowed to wear a helmet either.
No,
it has to be like you're driving on the road.
Yeah.
So.
And it's just beyond the skill level of most average people. It's 13 miles with 146 turns.
So
people aren't ready for that.
Yeah. So, well, we hope you're ready for the rest of Cruise Control Radio. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. where you can find out about our Facebook page and all the rest of our social media, YouTube, and more. I am Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. When we come back, we're going to talk tech about Etched Metal. We're also going to have an at-the-wheel review of the EQE from the folks over at Mercedes. Also a sedan. How about that? Talking sedans right here.
Sedans.
On Cruise Control. We are live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Watch us on Facebook and YouTube. Details are in this podcast's episode information.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson, and we are going to talk a little bit of technology here, talking tech. Les, I know you, whenever you get a car, you like to put stickers on it, wraps, go fast stripes.
Yeah, yep. Pinstripe. I like to paint the tires.
Were you in a demo derby or something?
And I like to put, like 4 antennas on them. And
lots of peel and stick customization.
Oh, you got it. Everything that the old J.C. Whitney catalog has, I'm there.
Look at these side vents. You just peel and stick, and they are lightweight plastic chrome. Yeah, wonderful.
And cladding, lots of cladding.
Lots of cladding. Yeah, you just go back, reach back, and get that cladding. Well, this talking tech comes once again from the people that CarBuzz has in the patent office.
Mm-hmm.
This was patented or applied for in the German Patent and Trademark Office. And they are talking about, GM is talking about doing away with decals, which take time to apply, go fast stripes. I told someone that the other day that was a term, go fast stripes.
Yeah.
I don't know where it started. Was that a Mopar thing, go fast stripe?
It was a Mopar thing. It was in the Lee Iacocca days of that. Remember the Shelby Chrysler or Dodge back in the 80s?
Oh, the Omni thing?
Yeah. And
yeah.
It was just stripes. It didn't. It was just an Omni with a bunch of racing stripes.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Performance. As I used to say, a handful of decal performance.
That's right. Yeah. Go fast stripe. Yep.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the folks over at GM are saying that maybe they could make this do a stripe at the factory better than a vinyl, let's face it, that vinyl material has improved immensely. It used to be you take your new car in and get it washed. Some people will take it to a car wash and the stripes would come off. I remember Hot Rod reviewing a Trans Am.
Yeah.
And the stickers came off. They took it through a car wash. They were driving across country and it was salty and they said, well, it's cold. We'll take it through a car wash. And the stickers came off. The guy was standing there with the sticker that came off the. So what they're thinking about doing here in this application is they would etch paint. Now, they might, if it's a metal car, they might actually etch the metal and put like a different texture in it and then paint over it. That's one idea. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? It seems like something you do it for the SEMA show, doesn't it?
We're going to see a lot of this.
Yeah. And then the other thing is they would etch out the paint in certain areas and show what's painted underneath it. That's sort of like what our friend Kevin would do with his Fotina look, where you paint it 3 different colors and then you sand it at different levels so you can see the color underneath.
Kevin Tates, he's a real artist.
Yes. Make it look like it's been sitting out in the sun for a long time. So there's some talk that you would paint it one color and then see through it, etch through it. And this article, which was in CarBuzz, talks about how Mazda's done a bit of this with their Soul Red, where they have kind of like an orangey look.
Great color.
Beautiful, beautiful color. I mean, Really, you could just paint your car that. You don't need a custom color. That would be a great look.
Oh, I would love it.
Yeah. So, interesting thought here. Couple of thoughts on it. They say it takes less labor to do this, but also, wouldn't it be better than having vinyl stripes? Wouldn't it be a higher end situation? I mean,
yeah.
I remember people with the big stripes on the Chevelles, the ones that really did it up, would have them taken off and painted on, right?
Yeah, and we're talking about, the laser is cutting through just microns of paint thickness, so it doesn't even show in the surface. And this is great. It's the quality of it would be spectacular. And the laser, which is probably a carbon dioxide laser, is computer controlled. It's fast.
And you won't get bubbles under it. Like putting decal.
As long as you don't stop the laser moving.
Then you might have a hole in your hood that you can poke you'll
have a big
turbo
brown burn spot.
So, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Well, here's another thing that's interesting. I was surprised by this. Aston Martin says they will reveal 8 new cars in the next 2 years. You and I were worried that Aston Martin wouldn't make it. But now it sounds like they're on a product offensive, aren't they?
It sure does. This is a surprise. We didn't see this coming. We kind of thought, well, it's going to stay the venerable. By the way, it's my favorite high-end car.
Okay.
It has been for years, not because of the James Bond thing. Just because it's the best combination to me.
James Bond thing is kind of cool.
Of power and class and luxury interiors and ride and control. Not the best of anything, but it's the best combination. And they're just such a nice car.
Well, I've seen DB11s and they really stand out. And we see a lot of cars, and you and I are familiar with seeing cool cars, but the DB11 stands out. It just looks like when you roll up in that, it looks like it's something different. You don't see that often, and it's really cool.
And just beautiful paint jobs. Can't afford it. But,
no, but
if anyone wants to give me one,
well, you can get. You can talk to Les after the show.
Just send me an email
well, they're going to have the DB12. That's one thing. They're going to replace the 11 with the DB12. But we're not really sure what all these cars are going to be. Some will be electrified. Valhalla. There's one called Valhalla.
How many SUVs?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I'm sure there'll be a number of them, don't you think? Do you think they'll bring out a midsize pickup truck?
Oh, please don't do this to me.
No. They say the front engine cars won't receive new platforms, but will receive such drastic redesigns as to be all new cars. There's the Valkyrie. They're going to have a new model of the Valkyrie. But I wonder, I thought they were having trouble surviving, as a company.
Well, I did too. They must have gotten an infusion of money somewhere.
Every model will be replaced.
I mean, this is not cheap.
No, you don't do this if you're like, well, I don't know what we'll do. You don't.
It costs billions to research and lay up a new model. It's not saving up your lunch money.
I think the way a lot of these smaller manufacturers are going to have to go, though, they'll go all electric because they have to, because they can't do the CAFE numbers. There's no small vehicle to bounce it off, right?
That's right. And that's the future. And actually the electric drivetrain is across the board cheaper than the conventional drivetrain, but the battery isn't.
Right.
So
let's get in our story about Nürburgring, because I know you have a review coming up in the next segment. Nürburgring, it is banning cars slower than 81 miles an hour. Previously, the minimum speed of 37 was the limit. Now you've got to be able to run at 81 miles an hour less, or you don't make the cut. You ever watch some of those crash things on the Nürburgring?
I've watched a few times.
Yeah.
Been on it once.
This makes sense. During sessions, drivers must be aware of their surroundings. Slow cars must move to the right and are expected to indicate and move over. Drifting is not allowed, Les Jackson.
I am aware of that. Biggest problem with the Nürburgring, again, is a lot of lack of driving skill.
I'm on a very difficult and unfamiliar course, so that means I must drive completely over my head.
and of course, the slower cars are staying on the right. Typically, the turns are mostly right-hand turns, and you need to radius the turns. If there's a slow car on the right, you can't radius the turn. Right. So you go into it hot,
and at the wrong,
and you learn what understeer is.
Well, we're going to learn what steering is when it comes to the new EQE sedan, the electric sedan from the folks over at Mercedes. Les has an At the Wheel review when we come back. Cruise Control streams live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Details are in this podcast episode's information.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. It is time for an At the Wheel review, and I just happen to have something at the wheel.
All right. Well, that sounds good.
And this is a pretty nice vehicle. It's the 2023 Mercedes-Benz EQE 500 4MATIC sedan.
All right.
And it's, of course, one of these sedans which kind of looks like a coupe. It's 4 doors, but the C-pillar swoops down, which I like that look, frankly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's quite easy to get into in the back. It's deceptive. You would think you have to bend down real far, but you don't.
Okay.
Also, you'll notice if you're looking at Facebook or YouTube, the picture of the car, it has big wheels. These are 19-inch wheels. This particular one that I drove is called the exclusive trim package. There are 3 packages. One's called the premium. That's the low end.
Okay.
Exclusive is the mid-level. Most people get it. And the pinnacle is the high end.
Okay.
And that's pretty high. But anyway, mine was finished outside in obsidian black. That's a very, very black color that Mercedes uses. Inside, Neva gray with some leather, saddle brown leather accents. And this rather nice wood. You don't see it in the picture of the dash there because everything is lit up, but it's it's kind of a gun stock color wood, very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 19-inch wheels, so they really, really fill up the wells.
They don't electric cars, even though that decreases range, they have not given up on big wheels, have they?
They have not given up on big wheels because big wheels give you lots of traction width.
You know what else? They keep on rolling.
They keep on rolling. Very, very good. You got me.
I had to wait to fit that in there. I heard it coming.
That's exactly. So, and this is an electric vehicle, of course, and it develops 402 horsepower.
Wow, that's stout.
Does 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, and I measured it myself.
On your phone?
On my phone.
Okay.
And it's quick.
All
Boy,
right.
I just love the acceleration of electric cars. They're
We
terrific.
we always say that people that never drove one, they're like, "Ooh,
You,
they're
you,
slow,"
you
and it's like,
gotta you,
no.
you gotta get in one. It has a range, by the way, of about 300 miles
Okay.
on the battery.
Hmm.
Um, Front seats are what they call multi-contour, so you really nestle in. Very, very comfortable.
Hmm.
Of course, they have all the functions, including massage.
Hmm.
And you see the Mercedes star pattern everywhere.
Okay.
Even the air conditioning vents kind of simulate the star pattern. Anyway, there's a system in it called energizing air control, so the air is filtered and all of that, but there's a tiny bit of ozone that's pumped in to sort of make you feel more awake. Uh,
Okay.
it's not a drug or anything. Anyway, 300 kilowatt electric motors. People eventually are going to understand kind of what that means, but it means 402 horsepower, and um, it has rear steering, 10-degree rear steering.
Now, is this an option in this
No,
a subscription?
this is part of the exclusive trim package.
What is that like? When did you get to try
It's
that out?
yes, there's one constant radius cloverleaf turn in the entire DC area on the George Washington Parkway. So constant radius means you can go into the turn, hold the wheel exactly in that spot, and it just tracks. Let me just say that steering let me set the record on that constant radius turn. I never was under 60.
Wow.
Um, the speed limit there is 45. But anyway, we won't talk about that anymore. And
Yeah, closed track. Do not try.
yes, special.
Closed track professional driver. Do
That's
not
right.
attempt.
The other thing that it has in the electronics, and needless to say, it has every electronic gizmo. Natural language understanding.
Oh.
Which is cool. I mean, you could. I actually was trying to just sort of talk too fast and maybe slur a little, and it just picked it up constantly.
Talk
I
with
was
a
not. I was
English
not drinking.
talk with an English Cockney accent. That type
Yeah, I say, governor. Anyway, the screen is 12.8 inches, which is really nice.
But
Touch
it's the
screen,
whole
of
dash.
course.
It's the whole dash, isn't it?
It's the whole dash, but the operation screen
Okay.
is 12.8. You get, of course, ride control. Now I used it in comfort mode mostly, but you have sport, eco, individual driving modes you could set.
Right.
So I like comfort. It has active brake assist, of course. It has Parktronic, which is that bird's eye view and all of these
Which is really great.
systems. It's a wonderful system.
Yeah.
Again, Nissan developed that originally. Exterior acoustic pedestrian protection. Translate that, it means noise.
Makes a noise.
Makes a noise that you can't miss.
Yeah.
A Burmeister sound system. Lovely.
Yep.
By the way, this thing is so quiet inside.
I bet.
Just incredible.
What noise does it make outside?
It's kind of like a bird tweeting in a distance.
Okay.
It's not super pleasant, but it's meant to catch your attention. It has ambient lighting that you can set in 64 different colors.
Try them all.
Well, it's like, come on. It's like a disco from the early 80s.
Yeah.
Fingerprint sensor for biometric authentication when you want to unlock the car.
Wow.
I mean, this is amazing. The front panel that you see in the picture, if you can see the picture, with the Mercedes star, that's the only option in this. It's $300.
To get it lit up?
No, just that star, that front panel.
When you say front panel, the
grill.
Oh, the grill. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. And by the way, let me give you the price on this thing. This is all of this for $88,000 even.
Okay.
And all of the vehicles are destination charge of $995,
which is a deal these days.
Yeah, it really is. And once again, 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds.
Wow.
Nice car, really nice car to drive.
What was the range again?
300 miles.
All right. You know, when you get into that 300-mile range, that's pretty good.
It is. It took, by the way, 47 minutes to charge from 55% to 95%.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
It is pretty good. If you wait for 100%, you have to remember the chargers all cut down
as you get up
current as it's filling up. Otherwise, the batteries get hot. This is true for everything.
All right. Well, we're going to cut down right now and finish up on this hour of Cruise Control. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We'll see you down the road.
Bye.